My name's David Hancock. I do a lot of work with customers, being able to help them define how they go about large strategic IT projects and digital transformation. And I work with them typically in the early stages of the implementation of them. Because of these kinds of programs, they fail at the start, not at the end. The INTEROpen is a group made up of the NHS, of vendors, and of standards groups, being able to define interoperability standards. The thing is, in the past, attempts at being able to implement interoperability haven't worked. So you need to be able to get the right balance of suppliers knowing that if they develop it, the capability, it will get used, and the standards being defined are things that the trust and the service actually wants. And INTEROpen is about getting that balance together, and therefore it's really important. If it was all technical, we'd have probably solved it by now. The thing is that interoperability is one of the biggest issues you have around kind of adaptive change. Adaptive change is a really important thing to understand because it typically involves multiple organizations being able to make changes to the way they work. But the problem is the organizations who've got to make the change, who it costs them money, where they have to change the way they work, they don't get any benefit. So when you kind of got these issues where the organization's got to make the change to make the benefit, it's very difficult to really get them all to go, yeah, we think it's a good thing to do. So that area of business change, of being able to build up the trust between the organizations, that everybody's doing it for other people's good, that's really the big issue which INTEROpen is trying to address. It's really about relationships. In order to be able to make interoperability successful, we need to be able to make sure that there are organizations out there in the service, in health and social care, who clearly want this capability. You then need to be able to identify one of those who'll go, yeah, I will be the first of type. So you need to do first of types where you experiment with them, they've got to learn with you, you learn with them, you do it together. And then if it works, you can develop it. If it doesn't work, you fail fast. You learn early, and you go and do something about it. So that's really another important thing that you have to be able to do to make it successful. It is clinical, it's got to be clinically driven and technically informed. Healthcare has changed since the NHS was created in 1948. Nowadays, healthcare is completely different. It's far more fragmented, far more health done in the community. We've got to be able to think of delivering care rather than being an organisation-centric view. It's got to be the patient-centric view. And the only way you're going to do this is through interoperability, because that is what is going to join up the patient data across all the different systems. So if we're going to be able to move to 21st century healthcare, we need to be able to solve the interoperability challenge to be able to deliver patient-centric care. So it's absolutely vital to be able to solve the big issues of healthcare. We can't afford our health system today. One of the major ways we're actually going to solve that is through interoperability.